It's time to rank the best 30-year-olds in baseball going into the 2024 MLB season. Where will injury-riddled greats like Mike Trout or Jacob deGrom end up? What about all-time talented players like Aaron Judge or Mookie Betts? We know that J-Ram is now the best third baseman in baseball, but Manny Machado versus Nolan Arenado, who's better going into 2024? We're going to find out. Starting off today's video, a future Hall of Famer, Justin Verlander at the 30 spot. It kind of makes me sad that I'm not ranking him higher, but he's at 30. Yes, he won a Cy Young in 2019 and then again in 2022, but what I saw from him in 2023, it was slightly concerning. I'm not going to lie. Now, some of those issues were kind of fixed when he went back to the Astros, but he turned in a 3.2 ERA and his lowest strikeouts per 9 since 2015. The fastball velocity was down, the ground ball percentage was down, just some things I don't want to see, but JV, he's got to make today's video. Before we talk about our next player, I do want to talk about Clayton Kershaw and Max Scherzer. They're not going to make today's video because they're most likely out until the All-Star break or for the rest of 2024. Would you guys believe me if I said that Dansby Swanson was top 6 in FWAR over the last few seasons? Well, if you don't believe me, I mean, I'm not a liar, I'm a truther. Dansby Swanson has been him defensively over the last 2 years. He's won back-to-back Gold Gloves in 2022 with the Braves, and then his first year with the Cubs, he put up a whopping 18 defensive run saves his first year in Chicago. He also had 22 home runs, but the thing that worries me about Dansby Swanson, and I can't ignore it, he does have a pretty bad strikeout issue, but because of his otherworldly defense being so valuable, I gotta put him in today's video despite the fact that he's just kind of average offensively. Also, one thing I do want to mention, at the time of this recording, Dansby Swanson is 29 years old, but there is something called baseball age. However old you are on July 1st, that is the age you are for that season, so he makes today's 30-year-old video. Kodai Senga just turned in one of the nastiest rookie seasons in the history of starting pitching. He had 202 strikeouts and 166 innings. That was good for a 10.9 strikeouts per 9, on top of the fact that he also had a 2.98 FIP. Kodai Senga was nastier than I could have ever predicted. I thought that he was going to be good. He was really good. Kodai Senga has one of the best fastballs in all of Major League Baseball. He has one of the best out pitches because he has that splitter. He was top 25% in getting a whiff. A whiff is simply where you throw a strike and the hitter misses it. The only thing that Kodai Senga has to work on going into 2024 is that walk rate, but hey, Blake Snell, he makes it work. Luis Castillo is just ahead of Kodai Senga on my rankings, and the reason is pretty simple. It's because I've seen him do it year after year. Don't get me wrong, I think that Kodai is going to be good in 2024, but over the last few seasons, Luis Castillo has been an absolute workhorse. He has a combined 3.19 ERA and 386 strikeouts and 347 innings since 2022. Again, like I mentioned, he's a workhorse. He's got that devastating sinker. He can throw it 97 to 99 miles an hour. He can throw it into righties or away from lefties. He also has a disgusting changeup, which surprisingly wasn't as disgusting in 2023, but for me, that's one of the best pitches in baseball, a Luis Castillo changeup. So 3 of the first 4 players in today's video have been pitchers, not this next one. At the number 26 spot, I got Christian Yelich. In the video in which we talked about the best players under 30 years old, I talked about how I couldn't rank Cody Bellinger higher because he wasn't very good the previous 2 seasons. And the same kind of goes for Christian Yelich. From 2020 to 2022, he put up a 106 OPS plus. He was pretty mid. Now, the thing about Yelly, he always got on base. He kept that part of his game, and in 2023, it was still part of his game, but the power came back. He racked up 34 doubles, 19 home runs, 28 stolen bases, while only getting caught 3 times, and he had a 124 OPS plus. Only reason why he is lower in today's video is because he's going on 33 years old, and of course, we talked about his stats. They were not good at all over the previous 3 seasons. When we talk about Zach Wheeler, we talk about him as being one of the more intimidating starting pitchers in baseball because he's 6'4". He throws upwards of sometimes 100 miles an hour. And if we take a look at his stats in the playoffs, I know technically this is not a playoff video, but for his career, he has a 2.4 ERA in 63 innings in the playoffs. He's been so good when it matters the most. Now, I know he did have a 3.6 ERA last year, but he had a 3.15 FIP. That just means he kind of outperformed his ERA from 2020 to 2022 in 69 very nice starts. he had a combined 2.8 ERA and a 2.8 FIP. Zach Wheeler absolutely deserves to be in today's video. I can already tell that Cardinals fans are not going to enjoy today's video because I didn't put Sonny Gray in it, but I did put Kevin Gausman. Don't get me wrong, Sonny Gray is disgusting. Maybe you thought that I actually messed up by putting Justin Verlander ahead of guys like Sonny Gray, but for me, Kevin Gausman, I just think that his strikeout stuff is a little bit better. 237 strikeouts in 185 innings and a 3.1 ERA. Kevin Gausman was so good last year, and he's been really good for the last few years. So again, no disrespect to Sonny Gray. I just don't know if he's going to be able to repeat that success in 2024. I know what you guys are thinking right now. Xander Bogaerts, he wasn't even that good last year. He started off the season terribly. Well, did you see how he ended the season? The fact that Xander finished with a 285 batting average is insane to me because in the first half of the season, he hit 253. In the second half, his final 71 games, Xander had a 321 batting average and a whopping 131 OPS plus. And the best part about Xander Bogaerts, the defense, it's still there. Xander Bogaerts turned in a 4 outs above average defensively at shortstop. In 2022, he had a 5 outs above average. So look at him. He's keeping it up. Listen, it is a long shot for Xander Bogaerts to make the Hall of Fame, but if he keeps on racking up 170 to 180 base hits with 20 home runs, maybe 20 stolen bases, this guy's going to have some serious stats at the end of the day. JT Realmuto is an absolute freak of nature. Have you ever seen this dude's calves? They're probably bigger than your body, and my body included as well. The context you always have to remember with JT Realmuto is the fact that he's a catcher. So when he puts up 28 doubles, 20 home runs, and 16 stolen bases as a catcher, that's insane. And then you have to compound that with the fact that he was top 4% in blocks above average, and he had the best pop time in all of Major League Baseball. Him and Patrick Bailey, they are studs back there. The only thing that JT has never really been elite at is framing, but when you're so good at blocking and throwing guys out, you can kind of rely on that. Even last year, he made some history. He became one of the few catchers ever to have a 20 home run and 20 stolen base season. I just like JT Realmuto a lot. He is so valuable. Ketel Marte is easily one of the best Swiss Army knife players in the game of baseball. 25 home runs, a near 360 on base percentage. He had a 128 OPS plus. A few seasons ago, he had a 143 OPS plus. And then in 2019, his lone All-Star season, I know that was a few years ago, 36 doubles, 32 home runs, a 149 OPS plus. Ketel Marte, when he's healthy and he's right, he's really, really good. And defensively, last year, he improved as well. So if you're telling me I can get a switch hitting monster that is going to play some decent defense at second base, yeah, I'll take that. I can already tell that you guys are about to be blown away by the stats of our next player. Yandy Diaz, I cannot believe what I'm about to say out loud, has a combined 151 OPS plus since the beginning of 2022. That's 274 games, and I know he's not a big thumper or anything like that, but he did have 22 home runs last year, a new career high, and he hit 330. He's had a 400 on-base percentage in back-to-back seasons. He was 6th in MVP. This is one of the worst trades in Cleveland history. Jake Bauers for Yandy Diaz, it still haunts me. Now, defensively, he's a first baseman, not going to give you much, and even on the bases, not going to give you much, but if you need baseballs to get deleted from existence, call Yandy Diaz. He might be the Thanos of Major League Baseball. Hold up, Fuzzy, what are you doing? Why is Jacob deGrom so high in today's rankings? Because he's Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom did play in 2023. He had a 2.6 ERA and 45 strikeouts in 30 innings. So when Jacob deGrom is healthy, to me, I think he's the most talented pitcher of this generation. I know that's blasphemous considering Clayton Kershaw and other guys exist, but since 2018, deGrom has a 2 ERA and a 2.1 FIP. He also has a 12.3 strikeouts per 9 and a 1.7 walks per 9. So he doesn't give up hits, he doesn't give up walks, he doesn't give up home runs, and he strikes out everyone. He has 921 strikeouts in his last 675 innings. That's all-time stuff right there. So yeah, despite the fact that he is as injury-prone as it gets, he will be missing a majority of 2023 because he's still going to be there for the second half. I'm going to put him in the video. Screw it. I'm going to preface my Arenado opinions by saying Cardinals fans have warned me that he was not right in 2023 and that I'm making a mistake by ranking him so low, but the dude had a 315 on base percentage, a 109 OPS plus, and the sad part is the defense kind of slipped as well. He was still good, don't get me wrong. He's always going to be a vacuum over there, but it wasn't Nolan Arenado good. In 2022, Arenado was out of his mind with a 293 batting average and 891 OPS, but the year before that, 255 with a 312. Last year, 266 with a 315 on base percentage. what's going on? Why can't he get on base recently? Now, again, maybe I'm not doing my proper due diligence and he was in fact injured last year, but 26 home runs is still pretty good. I'm not saying he was bad. I just think that other guys have kind of surpassed him. I always said to myself that if Adolis Garcia ever learns how to walk, he will be one of the best players in baseball. And last year, Adolis Garcia learned how to walk. Adolis Garcia went from being bottom 21% in taking a walk to being top 74% in taking a walk. He is a stud defender as well. He had 4 outs above average, and that's in large part because he does have some pretty good range despite the fact that he's not the fastest guy. Again, he's got a cannon for an arm, and if we take a look at the exit velocities, he makes contact with the best of them. He was top 4% in barrel percentage, top 7% in average exit velocity and hard hit percentage. This dude, when he swings, it does damage. So I got Adolis Garcia at 39 home runs, Gold Glove defense, and one of the better playoff performances in recent memory. Yeah, he's really good. Just for me, I can't rank him ahead of Manny Machado just yet because, again, we got to take into account that some of these guys have been him for 5 to 7 years, and that includes Manny Machado. Manny Machado was one of the streakiest hitters in all of baseball last year. In the first month, he hit 236 with a terrible 84 OPS plus, but then to end the season, he hit 321 in September and October with a 140 OPS plus, so he was all over the place. Also, in the month of July, 11 home runs and a 191 OPS plus, so luckily he had those 2 months because the other ones, not very good. Manny Machado turned in 10 outs above average defensively. That places him at top 3% in defense, according to Baseball Savant. So that's why he's so high on today's video, despite the fact that he only had a 115 OPS plus. He's still Manny Machado, and because of how good he was to end the season, maybe he was also injured and that he's going to bounce back as well. It's crazy to say out loud that a down season for Paul Goldschmidt is 25 home runs, a 363 on base percentage, and a 120 OPS plus. That's just not good enough for a future Hall of Famer in Paul Goldschmidt. Yes, I said that. I mean, the conversation to me is already over. Him, Joey Votto, those guys, they're making the Hall without a doubt. The standards for Goldie are just so high. So when he does go off for 31 doubles, 25 home runs, 11 stolen bases at the ripe age of 35, 36 years old, and only a 120 OPS plus, I'll put that in air quotes, that's still really, really, really good. I know a lot of people don't put a lot of weight into first base defense, but can we give Paul Goldschmidt some credit? This guy has been a stud over there for as long as we can remember. So we have some pitchers coming up back to back. We have Blake Snell and then someone else right ahead of him at the 13th spot. Can you guess who it is? I'm pretty sure you can. Blake Snell is coming off his second Cy Young in the last few seasons. He won in 2018 with a 1.89 ERA with the Rays, and then last year with a 2.25 ERA with the Padres. Over Blake Snell's final 23 games of last season, he had 186 strikeouts and 135 innings. He held his opponents to a 156 batting average, and he had a collective 1.2 ERA. How did he do that with so many walks? Oh, I'll tell you guys. He had a 5.8 hits per 9, which is absolutely insane. So when you're not allowing any base hits and you're striking out everyone, yeah, you can give up a walk or two. Just ask Nolan Ryan. As nasty as Blake Snell has been lately, I cannot yet put him ahead of Garrett Cole because to me, Garrett Cole is just a little bit more dependable. The fact that Garrett Cole put up a 2.6 ERA while playing half of his games in Yankee Stadium, that is not easy to do. We know that Yankee Stadium is a bandbox. You get cheap home runs left and right. He finally secured his first Cy Young, and it just kind of blows my mind that he didn't win back in 2019 when he had a 2.5 ERA and 326 strikeouts. How did he not win with the near 14 strikeouts per 9? I guess they gave it to JV, right? I think that we can all universally agree that Garrett Cole is the more dependable starter, but if we're talking about needing a strikeout, maybe you still go with Blake Snell. What do you guys make of those? So that was actually the final picture of today's video, and coming up at the number 12 spot, we have Jose Altuve. Jose Altuve only played in 90 games last year, and he somehow had 21 doubles, 17 home runs, 14 stolen bases, and a 311 batting average to go along with a 151 OPS plus. Over Jose Altuve's last 231 games, he has a 304 batting average, a 390 on base percentage, and a mind-bending 157 OPS plus. He also has 32 stolen bases to only 3 caught stealing. Jose Altuve is still very, very, very good. just at everything but defense. Jose Altuve has negative 28 DRS over the last 2 seasons, and he was bottom 24% in outs above average. Yeah, you got to work on that defense, but offensively, I mean, you can't get much better. I know a lot of people are going to yell at me for not having Trey Turner in the top 10 of today's video, and trust me, I get it, but this is a very hard video to make. There are so many superstars in this video. The dude had 35 doubles, 26 home runs, 30 stolen bases without getting caught a single time. But we do have to remember he did have a 111 OPS plus. That's his lowest since 2018. He was 25 years old. The strikeouts exploded in 2023, and defensively, he had a negative 12. I repeat that, a negative 12 DRS. So I'm not trying to criticize these guys. I'm trying to build them a case. But for me, that's why I have to put Matt Olson ahead of Trey Turner, despite the fact that I love Trey Turner. I mean, when you have 54 home runs, 139 RBIs, and a 390 on base percentage in a single season, just a few seasons after you had 39 home runs and a 153 OPS plus, yeah, Matt Olson, he's earned this spot. He deserves to be in the top 10. Matt Olson almost never misses games either. Over the last 3 seasons combined, these are his averages: 160 games played, 35 doubles, 42 home runs, and a 145 OPS plus. And on top of that, over those last 3 seasons, he has a 20 defensive run saves. He's a wizard defensively. He's going to get you anywhere from 40 to 55 home runs. Matt Olson is seriously one of the best overall first basemen I've ever seen. You know who else almost never misses a game? Marcus Semien of the Texas Rangers. And by the way, I'm so happy that his contract is working out, because at first, it did not look good. Do you guys remember the first few months from Marcus Semien as a Ranger? He had a 32 OPS plus his first month, a 76 OPS plus in May, his second month. But ever since that point, he's been a god. Last year, Marcus Semien led the American League in runs with 122, base hits. He had 40 doubles, 29 home runs, 14 stolen bases, a 122 OPS plus, and oh, by the way, some of the best defense at second base. If you like DRS for infielders, he had 16 DRS. He also had 16 outs above average, and I cannot believe that at 33 years old, Marcus Semien is still top 15% in sprint speed. He almost never strikes out. He does take his walks. He doesn't chase either, and when he makes contact, he gets the sweet spot pretty often. That's huge. Yes, there is a sweet spot percentage stat out there. Yes, we are that nerdy. Since 2021, here are the leaders in F-WAR. We have Aaron Judge, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, J-Ram, Trey Turner, Francisco Lindor, and Marcus Semien, ahead of guys like Juan Soto and Austin Riley and Manny Machado and all of those guys. But as you just heard, he's not ahead of Francisco Lindor. These offensive stats are just stupid for a near platinum level defender at shortstop. 33 doubles, 33 home runs, 98 RBIs, 31 stolen bases, while only getting caught 4 times. He had a 120 OPS plus and back-to-back years finishing 9th in MVP. To me, I feel like Francisco Lindor still has 4 or 5 more years left of being elite. Francisco Lindor just turned 30 years old. I don't think he's going to fall off a cliff. Modern medicine has gotten to the point where these guys can extend their prime. It used to be 27 to 29 years old and then kind of pray that you get lucky after 30. And then it was kind of cross your heart and pray to the baseball gods that you would stay healthy after 30. I mean, just ask David Wright or Felix Hernandez. I feel bad for those guys, but it's true. But I'm not joking. Francisco Lindor could go down as being one of the best defensive shortstops ever, while also being one of the few shortstops to have 400 plus doubles, 400 plus home runs, 200 plus stolen bases. He can get all of that done over the next 7 years. It breaks my heart that I have Lindor and J-Ram back to back. You guys know I'm a Cleveland fan. The fact that I cannot watch these guys grow old together and own one side of the diamond, it still makes me want to cry. Over the last 2 seasons, Jose Ramirez is averaging almost 80 extra base hits, 24 stolen bases, a 140 OPS plus, and really good defense over there at the hot corner. And the crazy part is, those stats could be even better, because over the last 2 seasons, he leads baseball by far in intentional walks, because the Guardians are so stinky, they just walk J-Ram instead of trying to pitch to him with the runner at second. They want the force out. So all of the numbers that I just mentioned, the extra base hits, the RBIs as well, he's averaging 103 RBIs over the last 2 years. Those could be even better if the Guardians actually gave him a proper lineup with some protection. Just barely missing the top 5. You know I'm trying to make an objective list when I don't have Jose or Bryce Harper in my top 5. Two of my favorite players in baseball. I just kind of want to spend the next few moments recapping Bryce Harper's career. He was the chosen one in high school, the #1 overall pick. He gets called up at 19 years old, wins Rookie of the Year. He wins his first MVP at 22 years old when he had a .330 batting average and is just a stupid 198 OPS plus. Fast forward to 2021, he hits .309 with the 179 OPS plus en route to winning his second MVP. Last year, he was top 12 in MVP despite the fact that he missed a good part of the season. Bryce Harper is hitting .297 with a 160 OPS plus over the last 3 years. What even is that? As much as I glaze and fanboy over Bryce Harper, there's no way I can put him ahead of Freddie Freeman. I just can't do it, right? Freddie Freeman is also an MVP. Now, a lot of you might say it's a Mickey Mouse MVP, but Freddie Freeman is him. Look at his stats over the last decade. Since 2013, Freddie Freeman is hitting .308 with a .397 on-base percentage and a 147 OPS plus. Not over the last 2 years. That's over 10 years. That doesn't make sense. I mean, last year, Freddie Freeman almost made history with being one of the few players ever to have 60 doubles in a season. And at the ripe age of 33, out of nowhere, he steals 23 bags. That is a career high. So when you hit .331 with the 161 OPS plus, you have 59 doubles, you have 29 home runs, a .410 on base percentage. I mean, good God. They had him and Mookie Betts on the same team, and now they have Ohtani. What are the Dodgers forming? The Avengers? And it's just kind of crazy that they could have also had this next guy in that lineup if they didn't let him walk for $325 million. We're talking about some of the most talented players ever at their position, and Corey Seager is one of those guys. Despite the fact that he missed over 40 games, how did he manage 96 RBIs? 42 doubles, 33 home runs. He had 33 home runs in 2022, but he played in 151 games. He had 33 and 119 with the 170 OPS plus, and he also played way better defense. Corey Seager is now one of the best all-around shortstops this game has ever seen. I just can't put Corey Seager above Mike Trout. I can't do it. I know that Mike Trout has been extremely injury prone over the last few years. He missed over 120 games in 2021, almost 50 games in 2022, another bunch of games in 2023, but can we still admit the fact that he's Michael Nelson Trout? Mike Trout in 82 games last year still had 18 home runs and a 131 OPS plus. That is the lowest OPS plus of his entire career. The only thing that Mike Trout is missing in his career is a Gold Glove, and he's been playing some really good defense over the last few years. So if you're telling me Mike Trout is going to stay healthy going into 2024, and he's still top 4% in sprint speed at going on 33 years old, he's playing Gold Glove defense. When he's healthy, he's one of the best hitters this game has ever seen. Yeah, he's still going to be in the top 3, but because of those injuries, I do have to rank 2 other guys ahead of him. I can't believe I'm doing it, but I am. Dodgers and Yankees fans are not going to like this, but our next 2 players, they're basically 1A and 1B. Can we admit that? If you ever want to get emotional looking at baseball stats, look at 2018 Mookie Betts. I think that it's quite possibly the best 5-tool season in the history of baseball. After struggling with the batting average over the last few seasons, Mookie Betts turned in a .307 batting average with 39 home runs and a 163 OPS plus. He was second in MVP just because he had to go up against a historic player like Ronald Acuna Jr., but you could actually make the case that Mookie was more valuable because of the defense. I don't know. I still would have gave it to Ronald. That's a different story for a different day. That was the 3rd highest WAR he's had in his career. Yeah, he had a 9.5 back in 2016. Like, Mookie Betts on the Red Sox, good Lord. Aaron Judge is just doing things that I have never seen in my lifetime. I was not old enough to remember Barry Bonds or a Griffey, someone that was capable of nearly hitting 70 home runs. The dude had a 210 OPS plus and 62 home runs when he won MVP. And then last year, if he did not break his toe in Dodger Stadium, he would have had a chance at breaking that again. He had 37 home runs in 106 games. He had a .613 slugging. I know it's not the .686 that he had in 2022. It's just with that power and also the fact that he's got a cannon for an arm, he's still really good defensively. He will be playing center field more often in 2024. I think that Judge is the guy to beat next season. That's just my opinion, though. So now you guys have to let me know, who did I miss or who did I rank too high or too low? Did I forget to put in Kyle Schwarber? Did I forget to put in Sonny Gray? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.